Welcome to the Databricks Skill Builder series. We're glad you're here.
All right, awesome. So my name is Will Middlebrook again. I'm a solutions architect here at Databricks, and really excited to talk to you about data and AI powered apps on the platform. So why apps in Databricks? Databricks Apps is all about bridging the last mile to your end users, analysts, business users, executives, etc. It's built to handle all of the complexities of the backend so you can focus on the data and making really awesome interactive visualizations. With LLMs, generating prototypes or even a full-blown front-end UI is easier than ever. And now Databricks makes getting that app actually deployed and into the hands of your end users much easier. So Databricks Apps is a simple way to create and deploy data apps with built-in security and governance. Awesome. So you vibe coded your app with your friendly neighborhood LLM. If you were to deploy this outside of Databricks, what are some things that you might need to think about? You'd have to think about authorization and sign-on, governance, access controls, app infrastructure, containers, integrating with a VPC, deploying to a database and managing the app state, observability tools, logging, auditing, and then updating your packages and containers. So Databricks Apps does all of this for you at the push of really a button, empowering data scientists, engineers, and analysts so that they have the tools needed to deploy production-grade apps for your business. Databricks Apps enables you to build interactivity into your data products. So we have Python and JavaScript via React and Node.js supported. So you can pretty much deploy any front-end user interface that you can think of in the platform. What are some examples of some things that you can actually build? So if you're looking for more customizability and visualizations beyond what is available in a dashboard, let's say, this could be a really great way to go. If you're looking for users to be able to interactively edit the data, right back to a database, they can do all of that here in the platform. You can automate business processes and workflows, trigger notifications based on incoming user data or user selection. So all of those would be great things to do. And then, of course, you can interact with your models and then build Gen AI applications such as RAG here in Databricks Apps. Data and AI apps are a little bit different from your simple CRUD app, and that's because they're stateful and heavy. So you've got to worry about analytic and transactional data, ML models, data pipelines, non-deterministic LLMs, and all of those have to be coordinated and governed. And so what Databricks Apps does is it brings that application layer actually to your data, not the other way around. So it makes developing and deploying those apps much simpler. Databricks already has the foundation to build enterprise data apps. So the Lakehouse has the data pipeline available, your ML, data warehousing, and governance capabilities all in one place, and it's ready to go for that last mile of UI. And with serverless hosting across each app and each app running in an isolated container with its own service principal, and data access is governed by Unity Catalog and Databricks authentication. And then just kind of highlighting the last point from the last slide, all of the best parts of Databricks are right there as building blocks for your apps. So our SQL warehouses, Spark Compute, endpoints, vector search, AI BI Genie, dashboarding, workflows and pipelines, and more are right there to build your apps. One important point here is Databricks apps are available beyond just any individual workspace. So you can use SCIM or automatic identity management, which is in public preview. So anyone in your account can actually use the apps that you built. Apps also embrace an open ecosystem. So we support all major Python packages. And then now we also have JavaScript and via Node.js and React. And you can really build these anywhere and deploy them inside of the platform. So whether that's developing locally in an IDE or many of the other kind of LLM focused IDEs that are coming available, you can develop there and then deploy inside of Databricks, whatever works best for you. To get you started, we do have this cookbook available with 10 common recipes to help you build apps. Definitely recommend taking a look at this if you want to have a little boost to get you started. And then just highlighting, it is really simple to get started in Databricks Apps. I'm a data scientist by background, and I found it incredibly easy to build out that Streamlit or Dash app and then deploy inside of the platform. So you do not need to be a professional front-end developer in order to get these developed and deployed, although it is great if you are. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Tin, who's going to walk us through our Databricks apps demo.
Great, thanks, Will. I'm gonna take the reins over. Okie dokie, here we go. Hey y'all, this is Tin. I'm showing you an output of the templates that the Databricks apps offer. You can see this is a Dash app that is showing data from Unity Catalog. So the big picture here is you can connect your apps directly to your Unity Catalog data and actually get that data in really quickly and get it customizable, get it ready to roll for your end users. The thing is you don't have to worry about a lot of the things that Will had brought up before. Uh, one of the things is like you don't have to worry about creating a authorization unit, or you don't have to you don't have to set it up with your virtual cloud platform because it's already done it for you through Databricks. So I'll show you this. This is just a simple app through Dash, and I'll show you how to deploy it. So let me go back to the workspace. And if you want to start deploying a new app, go to your workspace. You can click New right here on the top left, and then go the Apps. And you can create it based on one of our templates right here. I'd start with this Dash and then Data Apps. And it'll walk you through a couple instructions. The first thing that you're configuring is the SQL warehouse that you're going to point it to. Next is the authorizations that you want to give your apps. I'm just going to leave it as default. And then any tags or app level permissions and such that you want to tag your app with. So you can add tabs, and then you can click install, and it'll install your app. So I've already created one earlier just to save some time. So when you do create your app, this is a screen it's going to show up with. It's going to take a couple of minutes to spin up. This is the link that you get with the app. You get this link and you click on it, it goes straight to the app that I was showing you earlier. So this connects directly with the data set that you're seeing earlier. Let me show you the different pieces right here. When you deploy using the template, it deploys it from, it'll create files for you in a specific location. It'll be your user, then the Databricks app, and then this folder path right here. It will give you that template. If you choose to want to deploy your own app that you already curated and such, you can also click here with this drop down and deploy using a different path. This gives you a couple different ways that you can deploy your app and run it on your computer and such, and sync the file and such. So you can walk through this and see like all the CLI commands and the setup for that. What I want to go a little deeper into is how is this app connected to your data and such, or how is it getting permissions and authorizations and such? I want to go over to first this permissions tab right here. When I click on it, I can give any user permissions to like use the app. So I can type in a user or group or service principal to use the app, or I can select this piece right here where I have anyone in my organization to use the app. Note, they can use the app. This only gives you permissions to use the app. It doesn't mean that they get permissions to the underlying data. So the underlying data, you can set it up so that, hey, that user has specific access to that data, or you can have it so that the service principal of the app has access to that data. So you can govern it either way. You can have the app use the service principal's permissions, or you can have it so that it's granular to the user. Okay. Another thing to note, this does deploy a service principal on its own. Let me scroll down right here. This is the name of the service principal. It'll pop up somewhere in the account. That's where your service principal is set up. And then let me go into the the deployment for the app. So when we deploy the app, it's going to pop up here. Go a little deeper. Right. So this is the the files that gets deployed on default for the app. Um, on default, what you want to look at is this YAML file you need to have in each deployed app environment that you have. So this command, this is the setup for the default app for Dash. What's happening here is when the Databricks apps is starting up, it runs this command based on your YAML, and it takes it based on the information that you have given it permissions to. So this is your environmental variables. You saw earlier that I configured it to utilize the um, SQL warehouse. And so it's giving it permissions to the SQL warehouse. I'll go back to that and give you a little deeper sense of that. This is the requirements.txt. These are all the requirements that you have here based on your app. You can choose, and you can also like have it be specific versions if you choose to. And then lastly, the app.py. This is the app.py that's based on your app, right? This is based on based on the framework that you're using. In this case, it's using Dash. So you'll see in here that it's pointing to information for Dash and how to set that up, and it's pointing to a default app that's built out. You can bring your own app, and you can choose it to point to any different table that you want. If you scroll down to, let me show you right here. Select from. Right here is it's just a function that loads data from a specific Unity catalog table. So that you can point it to any table, and then what you do is you configure your app to display that table however you want. Whether you want to set it up to be inside a table, if you want to set it up to be inside a graph, you load that based on the framework that you're setting it up. Secondly, in this case, how the user is how the app is actually using the user's permissions on behalf of the app. Right here, when you log in to the app is sending the access token of the user to the backend. So you can actually use this access token to give permissions to the app to query based on the user. So if there's row level security set up on this table right here, you for that user, it's only gonna filter it based on the user. So that's one way. It's like if you set the user token right here, it'll use the access token of the user. It'll use the permissions of the user. Otherwise, if you don't use the permissions of the user, you can just use it based on the service principal. It's all based on how you want to set it up. Okay. I'm going to go back to the app I deployed. So this is a really simple data app that was deployed. Um, let's go into the edit setting. If you go into where your app is deployed, go back into the edit setting. These are the things that we set up earlier with the app, but I do want to go to this configure side and show you this. Right now it's configured just to look at a SQL warehouse, right? It's connected to the SQL warehouse compute right here, and you're setting it up to can use permissions. And this is the resource key that you saw I showed in the YAML file. This is the key that you use um, to use that's the environmental variables in the YAML file. So that's how it's all connected there. The second thing is you can add more resources to this. Like if I click add resources, and resources could be any one number of things. So like if you have secrets, right, that you want to utilize to connect to different things like an API or something. You can add secrets to the app and have it utilize those secrets to do that. You can have the app actually connect to a job and trigger a job like a workflow. So if you have a data engineering job or a business workflow job that you have inside of Databricks, you're able to have the app trigger the job. This serving endpoint, one of the other use cases for Databricks app is to serve a front end application for for chat bots or self service agents. So if you have some sort of RAG application or generative AI application, you can set it up with a server endpoint that's pointing at a LLM of your choosing. We have a couple different LLMs through our foundation models. If you want to point it at Claude, you want to point it at Llama, this is giving permissions to that. SQL Warehouse. This is what I showed just now. If you want to connect to a SQL Warehouse compute, you can set it up to that to connect to that. The beauty of this is it uses Databricks SQL compute. And what people use this for is one, they can use it for analytics. They can just read a table in. Two, um, they can have CRUD apps. So CRUD apps meaning like if you have something where you have a business user come in and they want to update something inside the system, you can have the app be the UI for how they can update that and have it update it for you. So if you have workflows in your company that you want to simplify, if it's like something that's everyone's sending like spreadsheets all over, or you're updating stuff manually and such, and you want to send it to those business users, you create an app just to upload something, have it verified for you, and update it in the system. Then three, the very last one is the UC volume. So you can connect this with a UC volume, which is a file-based store that you can set up in your Unity catalog. If you want to have some sort of app that's looking at images or files-based things, you can have it set up for that. Um, so, and then there's user authorization scope. I've already showed you one of them, which is this scope for SQL. So this is what this is doing is it's allowing it to act on behalf of the user. The application, right? The Databricks application acts on behalf of the users and utilizes their permissions to get specific data assets. So if you have a table that you're interested in limiting the user based on their row level security or their group, this is how you do it based on the user and such. Okay. Okay, so let's go to app authorization right here. This is all the things that I was talking about how this is all configured and such. So you can go in here and look at how this is all configured for the user authorization. And there's some how-to guides that walk you through how this is all set up. But what I do want to get into is um, this environment tab. So everything I showed you, how everything's set up and such, gets ported over to environmental variables in some way or another. The app itself is defaulted to a port of 8,000. And there's a bunch of environmental variables that get sent through the app. For example, the secret of the app. So this is the secret that's obfuscated, of course. For the service prints of the app, there's some defaults for some of our from our templates. So you have like Flask app, it's default to 8,000 for the environmental variables for that, and also for Streamlit and Unicorn. Okie dokie. Well, is there any questions that are coming up from the users that they want to get
It looks
answered?
like it looks like we had one question on scope and being able to see scope.
Scope of
I think the secrets, maybe.
the scope of the secrets? Oh, the secret scope. So when you add a secret right here, you can choose what secret scope that you want to set up. So what happens here, you choose a random secret scope, right? And you set up to have permissions to read. I don't have access to read the scope. Um, but essentially, um, you can set it up to so that the reader or the the app has access to that secret. So one of the things that is to note, right, that I haven't showed on here is when you deploy an app, you got to make sure that the app is given permission to the secret or secret warehouse or the table underneath to read it, or at least your user is set up to read that. So the secrets right here, I want app level permissions to access that secret. If it's like a table that you want to have access to, you can set it up so that the user has like specific permissions to that, and so that the app uses the user's permissions for that. And this also can do write and manage. Most of the time, I set it up to can read for the secret. Okay,
Great. I think that's it so far.
awesome. So that's like a general overview of the apps. So let me go to my app right here. So one last thing is you can also develop your apps locally. So what you can do is um, if you have a local app, you can deploy this like template using the UI, or if you already have a local app that you want to work on and deploy it to the interface, what you can do is you can set this up with GitHub or Azure DevOps, port up your app to the Git repository, and add it to your workspace. Yeah, right. And so, like, you'll have your app here. And then you can port it, you can set it up to deploy using different Databricks apps and so and such. So I won't be covering all that today, but there's some information on it that we can send out about the Databricks extensions and such that you can set up to work locally if you choose to.